The music video for Cattle Decapitation's Kingdom of Tyrants is a bit more cryptic than most music videos, with obvious comparisons to make to the music videos of Tool. For the average viewer, it might be hard to tell what is going on, but Cattle Decapitation makes the meaning more apparent when you combine the ideas being presented in the song with the ideas being presented in the video. The major themes of the video and the song had to do with technology, evolution, and extinction. In the extended version of the music video, which is what I'll for the most part be talking about, there are actually two songs, the Monolith and Kingdom of Tyrants. And in order to understand what's going on, you're going to have to know what the Monolith actually is. The Monolith comes from the title of the album, Monolith of Inhumanity. Cattle Decapitation's Monolith is an obvious reference, as the music video is, to 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001's Monolith was an enigmatic, unnatural black slab that, upon coming into contact with the prehistoric ape men in the beginning of the film, appeared to lead the ape men to their next step in evolution. In Kingdom of Tyrants, we see an almost anti-Dawn of Man sequence. In 2001, the ape men were in an entirely natural world with no technology to be seen, and suddenly there came this clearly unnatural entity in the Monolith, and touching it instilled within them the understanding of technology, and with it the understanding of violence for needs of survival. The ape men learned how to use the bones of dead animals to beat their opponents to death. This was their Dawn of Man, essentially saying that violence is the basis of modern man. And Kingdom of Tyrants flips it around. Instead of seeing an entirely natural world, we see an entirely unnatural world. These post-man creatures having a physical reliance on technology and living in bleak heaps of garbage. Then this natural enigma appears with the Monolith of Inhumanity, and upon touching it, one of the post-man creatures picks up a bone and learns, like the monkeys, to be violent. But instead of the point being that these creatures learn to evolve, it instead incites the end of life itself, with their violent acts leading to the deaths of everyone else, essentially. And with that, we'll start getting into some of the details. Now, the first half of the video is the song The Monolith, which is a reference to the album title, Monolith of Inhumanity. The album title itself is a reference to the song Your Disposal, in which the lyrics read, What they're essentially saying here is that humans, through technology and through carelessness, have created a monument to destruction, to waste, and that is the Monolith of Inhumanity. And so the lyrics to the Monolith reflect this sentiment in indirect ways. This is likely a reference to the Garden of Eden, but the point becomes more clear with the next two lines. Now here's where the environmental messages come in. This song is from the point of view of the past/present generations of man, and the next song will be from the present/future generations of man. Man was made to lie in pastures of green, meaning that we were given a beautiful world to live in, and were left to die unclean because we ruined the world. We took a beautiful world and made it ugly through our overdependence on technology and recklessness toward the environment. What the song is saying here is that the past/present generations of man were given a beautiful earth and left an ugly earth for future generations. Essentially, we were promised heaven on earth, and we are giving our kids and our grandkids, and so on, hell on earth. The lyrics then shift to the post-man's perspective, or in other words, the perspective of future generations, in the song Kingdom of Tyrants. Murder of the Day is an obvious reference to blacking out the skies, much like in The Matrix. The point being that we have ruined the skies to the point where no more sun shows through, essentially murdering the day. The last lyric about a deathbed is basically a way of saying that human life is starting to come to an end. The first part is talking about the earth. The soil is tainted, and the wounds are unattended in the sense that we did nothing to save the world from our own man-made damages. The second half is talking about how mankind is going to essentially destroy itself from within, the kingdom referring to the kingdom of mankind and its tendencies towards tyranny, and how mankind is essentially a tyranny over other creatures, dominating them and controlling them and ruining their lives for our own benefit. In other words, mankind is dying off. Here the song is referring to technology. Once we free ourselves from our over-reliance on technology, we'll starve. We won't be able to fend for ourselves without it. And once we fail to break away from the technology pushed onto us by society at large, they'll return. The tyrants will burden us again with technology because we won't be able to walk away from them. Here we'll see the same verse as the Monolith told from the other perspective, the perspective of future generations. Here what is being said is that future generations are going to have to live in the hell on earth that previous generations put them through, that we grow up in the soiled world, the filth, and die in it. We were given hell that we did not create and are left to die, having no hand in what killed us. Now the obvious undertone to this is the modern societal understanding of the world. In the 1960s, people were basically told that you can go to college and get a job and life will be easy. They saw that this was the case, and so they passed the lesson on to their children and grandchildren, that if you go to college you'll get a job and life will be easy. And now people are learning that this isn't the case. Going to college doesn't secure your life. You were promised heaven and now you're in hell. But the song isn't talking specifically about that. That's just an example. What the song is really talking about is more environmental. We were promised this beautiful world, but previous generations ruined it, and we're ruining it now. And future generations are going to be promised this same beautiful, fulfilling world, and not be able to get any of it. We take what we need and leave nothing to future generations, leaving them to starve and die. Essentially reprising the theme of killing off man. This whole part is talking about how since birth, death is always waiting to strike. We could die immediately or at an old age, but death is absolutely certain. And as a result, mankind's death is certain as well. Death is slowly creeping on us, and mankind's time is running out. What's being said here is that humankind and all of its patheticness is becoming less and less human, and that it would make sense for anybody to hate mankind, and that it's only just that the post-man creature in this video is here to come and kill them off, end the suffering, and bring justice to the world that has been ruined by our hand. A reprise from before, with the basic point being that when we try to break free from the cycle of human abuse, we fail and suffer, and the cycle of abuse returns. And so now the music video should make a lot more sense. We see these post-man creatures who rely on technology to the point of having a physical attachment to it, and we see this absolutely desolate post-apocalyptic environment that they have to live in, where they live in a gigantic graveyard of scraps of technology. We see a man who is clearly not one of these post-man creatures, and he also relies on technology. He also is the Tyrant in the video's title. The post-man creatures work to please this man who feeds off the life of another man in order to survive. The point obviously being that the Tyrant is parasitic and will perpetuate his own life by any means. We see that the main post-man creature, a female, is pregnant, and most likely with the child of the Tyrant, meaning the continuation of the human species. We see the creatures looking for scraps of technology that seem to be for the Tyrant. They are essentially his slaves. They don't do anything about it because they don't know any better. Then the Monolith of Inhumanity appears, a giant slab of rock that perplexes them, and the main creature touches it and sees the pain that humanity has caused them. She sees the mountains of garbage. She becomes aware of the horrible life she's living, and then she learns to use a dead human's bones to beat the other creatures to death, which in a way is punishing the Tyrant by cutting off his servants and leaving him to starve. We also see the Monolith continues to bleed more and more as she becomes more aware of violence as a solution to the post-human problem. This is the final de-evolution of man, dehumanization, extinction, self-destruction. We see her kill her own baby, preventing the further continuation of the species of man, and rips the technology off of her eye. She was blind, but now she sees the pain and suffering and the hell on earth that they all live, and she is freeing herself from that pain through death. In conclusion, the music video to Kingdom of Tyrants is almost a masterwork of depth, being visually intense, musically intense, and lyrically intense. It uses some symbolism, some references, mainly to 2001, and prefers to tell its story non-verbally and connect the dots with the lyrics that the band sings. Unfortunately, this music video would soon be overshadowed by the overtop, controversial, and disturbing music video for Forced Gender Reassignment. If Travis Ryan or Mitch Massey ever see this, I hope you guys continue to make a great music video duo. I know everybody's waiting for you to top Forced Gender Reassignment, but I could care less about that. The music video you really needed to top is for Kingdom of Tyrants. And in my opinion, this might just be the greatest music video ever made, and hopefully you continue to push the boundaries of music video as an art form. More symbolism, more themes, more big ideas being presented, less straightforward narrative, less in-your-face meaning and visuals. Music videos have gotten stale, and it's good to see a great music video in recent years, and I hope Travis writes even bigger ideas into the lyrics of the next album, and I hope Mitch Massey is there to translate that into film. Perhaps even a complete concept album with a complete music video to go along with it. Probably not, but all I can say is, even if Kingdom of Tyrants is all we'll get, it still justifies their entire careers, because if you ask me, it's an absolutely amazing music video and song.